Before we get into the video, I need you guys to do me a favour. Number 1, like the video. Also comment, let me know your thoughts on the case. Northern Irish Kevin Conway was considered a notorious and tarnished gangster, who was one of the most influential figures in Northern Ireland when it came to crime. Now Kevin was an important member of the Lurgan-based crime mob, The Firm, that operated in County Armagh area and also beyond. At just 26 years old, Kevin Conway and the police had a strained relationship. The police would always target him, and Kevin would somehow get away. Now, as a teenager, Kevin had no fear. He was brave, and that was to say the least. He was regularly caught breaking into homes, stealing cars, and also taking scrap metal. And he was also often challenged by local people, older people in his area, but his daring personality meant he was not afraid of other known criminals. Now, the fact that the firm allowed men and women to join their cartel-style gangs was the perfect fit for Kevin Conway. Now, despite the fact that the firm held no political allegiances, a lot of his members were from the community divide, with a lot of members coming from the Republican and Loyalist groups. Now, the firm had established Class A gear supply routes via Albania criminals. Now, once Kevin Conway joined the firm, he quickly established himself as a high-ranking member. Again, he was classed as an enforcer and a debt collector. Now, a year before Kevin Conway himself would be fatally shot, reports say that he was one of 3 people who had lured Shane Whitla into an alleyway in the Lurgan area. Tragically, Shane Whitla, who was a dad of 4, was fatally shot multiple times and then left there right where he stood. Now, rumours say that Shane Whitla had wrapped up a drug debt to the tune of tens of thousands of pounds, and every time an associate of the firm demanded payment, there was always an excuse, or Shane would just go MIA. Now, the prosecution alleged that Kevin Conway had been in contact with Shane and asked to meet to discuss the debt. Shane agreed to meet at a mutual location, that being the alleyway. There, 2 men approached Shane, and of course he was fatally shot. Now, the police called the shooting a well-planned execution. They also said they do not believe that Kevin Conway was the actual gunman, but he was just as responsible for luring Shane Whitla to the place of his aim. Now, Kevin was the enforcer and, as I said, debt collector. Now, after Kevin was arrested and he was given bail conditions. Part of those conditions were that he was not allowed to associate with other criminals. He was also not allowed to have a mobile, and he was to check in. However, police noticed that Kevin had been using the social media entity Facebook. Police then went to Lurgan to carry out inquiries on February 25th. Now, Kevin was arrested in his socks. Police made the dire mistake of actually allowing Kevin to have a cig. While smoking, Kevin just did a runner. He evaded police despite the fact that sniffer dogs were in the area and also police helicopters were used to locate him. They could not find Kevin. Now, the gangster eventually handed himself in the Banbridge police station on that following Monday morning. He was then given more bail conditions, ultimately being told that Kevin would have to post €10,000 before he could be allowed back out of prison. He posted it. Now, because Kevin was well connected, of course, the money was paid and he was allowed to go back out onto the streets. Now, once Kevin Conway was released from jail, Kevin Conway went back to the Rosenarine Park area. Police from Ireland's major crime team had warned Kevin to move to a different location. After all, Kevin even told the police that he was frightened for his life. Now, Kevin would ultimately be shot multiple times on January 9th at around 9:30 p.m. at his own home. Now, sadly, Kevin Conway was pronounced dead at the scene. Now, Kevin was no angel. In fact, it was believed that he had been involved in a shooting where shots were fired through a window of a Republican's house in the Forest Glade area of Lugan back in 2019. Now, reports say that the firm had signed off on Kevin Conway's M, and those responsible were Republican dissidents, and the people whom had to have known Kevin themselves, the same group of people that were responsible for Kevin's dad's M, because there was no way a person from outside the area could navigate the twisted streets of Lurgan and the Greenan area and actually be able to escape without anybody seeing them. You had to have known the area intimately. Now, ultimately, Kevin knew he was a man on borrowed time. Last August, police and disposable team squad were called to a suspicious object placed at Kevin's home address, and that was later classified as a fireable device, meaning that it could go off i.e. a BOMB. Condolences, stay safe, safe.